I would now like to introduce Mr. Mikkel Nils Sara, who is also an associate professor at Sámi University College, who comes from a reindeer herding background. He comes from a reindeer herding district known as Fiet. You know, mining is an issue during these days. We will be visiting Distriktavuogádat plans for copper extraction. So China's need for copper impact his family's reindeer herding. That is not his primary subject here today, though. He will be talking about the Siida, and this concept you really need to learn while you're here. The Siida is
like Ingimai, I'm going to speak Sámi. Though I'm aware that this will be quite challenging for Sara and Siida. But I tried to also myself to translate some of the central concepts, Siida concepts that I use here. Ja, no vaikne bet barisprogrammasta eli Nils Oskar juhteli juttuun tuolla tämän laukalta. Ja social ecological thinking. Musta tehtällä saa hiisottaa samma laukalta inge tiemaissa on leijuttan tätä. Mutta län enke juttana allt som vi saatun tahkot. Aada kun tekkar vuokkasetkin tekkar bajilchaallaga. Vois kuiaskallen reutaan bajilchaallaga.
Change the title.
Nuotte kun tätä takansa.
I will talk about the
Taina tuogaachin mimusle tiehti ja jutti siitä. Ja taas just tahti Kautokeino ja Karasjohti, kuten nammuhan just minä monahti tahkoulu tahka sulli kohti kuannalla saa norkkaapel. Voisi tuolla olla muihia ja pohtsuit taavus. Ja Siidale tahmille parakan pohti, kun tuon toulujarais. Ja tälle me otnaa päivä endat, mi päivälät parakaa pohti. Tällä meiltä mai hoinaan, kun taappi min koulussa, kun pohti olisi. Mutta tiedä saman fasiorkia manilas, mutta tämän kaskille mus norkkaapeltä mi tehti Siidale viimmat almalat kessa noudan ja tohkovan laaga kohti tuhaa tjejerais. Ja mä saadaan tahti definition. On tälin loukalan. Mutta tehtele jallan tarkilli ja tälle muhtuun jorkelen tämän saamikilli ja monen ies kähtsän jorkeli tämän enkeleskilli. Tämän definition. Ja kun lahkalla jorkelun tarkille saamikilli. Aina kun mipa siitä vahkista kalaka joukko. Mutta liemmaista mun sopi rinneikkulan taas empputatjat. Se ei täällä seislyhtsy. Sahtsin emppulan pirhu. Ja tämän eräätuokaskova taas olla ähty landratsi lähtee ei se valtit kähtsän ja haltesen paituolo tusse ja eive takkaras iäjäset raahkalan ouhtela kaikun. He paaris laakaimilta, jos sahkoon ankkai eskuilaakai. Ja tältyystä tämä ties tjuithalks ja mun tiestyys pitchen targil kun tältä targil tohpakat. Mun kähtsän jorgel henkilöskil. Ja viidas vuodun taas lähtee puhutsuulle halttesuun ja lokainen halttesuun takkar puhtadan sektori. Ja tiehtovuodun styyret taan nukohsuun kuottavatsen lähtäälistäkä jämppuaan non ahpakat. Alttaset modellet jopa sivuekin tasamot fahtitan ilmuudusa mi puolituallulle. Ja valtolahkunan koski norkkapeltä lämanimus aikkilämys tjoaggit vaassan jägit kauppapuolituettuit ja leikkun kähtseli kaunettakar rjöf.
And then by that they measure how much the districts can take of reindeers. And by this they try to keep sustainability in the reindeer. Siida has been invisible in this picture when it comes to rights, obligations, priorities of issues, funding, and also other interests. The Siida has been irrelevant or unimportant in this picture. But when the concept Siida has been acknowledged by law, it is, we can say it's a good step forward. It's still possible that the Siida is reduced to nothing because the Siida is being administered just another district and not as a Siida, because district is something else. And then I continue to talk about Siida and what the Siida is working with. And do they have another type of knowledge and understanding that the public administration have been not looking at those issues as important, those issues that the Siida is talking about. But first, I have to say, when in Sámi, when we talk about reindeer, when the Sámi people talk about reindeer, it's just one of many animals. When we Sámi people talk about the reindeer, then we have many categories. We have at least, and we have these categories, and we talk about the nature of the behavior of the animal. And the way the animal behave, and that's how we keep the categories. We'll talk about the categories. And you might think it's strange why we have those Sámi word, English word, and the last word. You might think, what is that? Stälranas, farm reindeer. That word I found in Uttar's report to the English king in about the year 900, just to show you that in the history and the Sámi stories are telling about that the reindeer, semi-domesticated reindeer and wild reindeers have been there at the same time, and the tame animal can be wild, but a wild reindeer, it's almost not possible for it to be tamed. And then the Siida, the organization, a group of people who's working with the reindeers. And what they do, and they work with living animals, and only with living animals. The Siida focuses on them, and the reindeers herders, they use these words when they talk about the reindeer, the Siida. And these words, this is hägga, and in English is body, life, the individual reindeer. And elu is the herd. You often hear this when people are talking about their work. So here the herd. I describe the Siida as a kind of how to describe the Siida. Then I also describe a herd. Think about the herd as a kind of square with 4 walls. It's not a square then, but I show you this here, these 4 concepts. It has a front, and it has a back part, and it has together, or the Siida together. What we have in a Siida are these 4 concepts. The first is territoriality, partnership, knowledge, and Siida keeping. And I'm thinking, instead of that the Siida is moving, then here we talk about various periods. The Siida is moving through various periods. And if I should decide where are the different war front, and then the partnership is the back part, and then territoriality and knowledge keeps it all together. And when it comes to partnership, I would like to say some words there about that. I would like to say that it also contains the way the reindeer and the herd understands the situation, because the reindeer also have an opinion. That's why we think it's not only people who are thinking here or having opinions. It's because the reindeer wants to, it has seasonal patures and it has migratory routes. And the opinion of the reindeer and the herd on daily basis, it puts the agenda of what people are talking about. And the people, they gather information by observing, and then they talk about the things that they've been observing. And so when people look at the reindeer, they try to understand the land and the way the reindeer understands it. So by this, the categorizing of the landscape becomes very clear, and the meaning and the value of this changing also. And they also get a good understanding about the yearly cycles and the climate changing and everything by trying to understand the reindeer. How it works. It might be, and Ingemaya also talked about it here, this is how we want it to be. And the reason I say that is that there can be some things why it is so. It can be because the lack of understanding of the public administration and the lack of knowledge and the lack of prioritization of needs seen from Siida's perspective. And one thing here is that the government, at the last priority, the concept protection of land, and how they understand the rights and everything like that. And the government is trying to study the land, and they talk about not so good land and not quite bad land. And by this, they put numbers, and they use presents, and they tell the Sámi people that this land can take so much reindeers, and that land can take these little reindeers. But the Sámi people wouldn't agree with this. Try to explain more about this. Shortly, you can say that limited places for reindeers, rest and gathering. We have places for that. And we also have mandatory passage points for the reindeers. And we have places, ecological niches for early spring grazing, calving, refuge from insects, hot or cold weather, etc. I could tell you more about this, but here I mentioned these orohagat, which are, as you can see, areas adequate for longer seasonal stays, consisting of saajid, paikit, coupled up by Keynote. And then we have migratory routes, and also area consisting of alternative migratory routes, places for short stays, and herein places for sequential use. And then there is one important part, is that diversity of terrain that support. Then we also talk about climate changing, or the weather changing. And the government, the leaders, they lack this knowledge. They don't know how to explain those issues. And that's why they put a low priority. They don't work so much with these issues. They only talk about the number of reindeers. And the Siida would mean that is totally wrong. The wrong part to start the discussion. Because the Siida, they do have the knowledge and interest to try to find an ecological, a good way to adapt to a good way to keep the number of reindeers, and they do it by observing all the time. And scientists call this sentient ecology. But even if we talk the numbers of the reindeer, then you need to know about what the Siida knows. There is more I can try. So I would give an example to show you how the government and the Siida think differently. This is only an example that I made, but I can say that this represents a true situation when I know about these issues, about these areas. And then I can have as an example a summerland. The summerland the Siida say that this land can have 300 reindeer on the male terrain. And then you have 700 female reindeers. It's because in the summerland you have places where the male reindeer would stay, and other places where the female reindeer would stay. And to know this and to remain, you must remain near to be able to keep a fairly good watch of the herd's movements. But when we have discussions about the numbers, it's like this. This is the truth. For example, this year we have 1,100 reindeer in one area. We can have 1,000, but the government would say that no, you need to only have 800. But at the same time, the government gives economical support, so the people will begin to sell the calves, and so they can have high meat production, and so they only keep, most of the reindeer should be females. And these ways to try to reach their goal, what is that the people should have less reindeer. This is what they want to do, and when they force people to do this could, and the females 740. So if you remember those numbers, this wouldn't give good results because we don't get high meat production because of having these numbers, because Siida doesn't mean this is the right way to do it. And the reindeer herding wouldn't see this is a good solution. And then you have the different variating. The years are variating. The summer weather can make bad conditions for the land where the female reindeer should stay. In the summer can have a lot to say for the conditions of the reindeers, female and calf and male reindeers, how they are when it is when it's autumn. And then you can have a winter, a lot of snow, and this condition of the snow, then you need to have big reindeers who are able to dig the hard snow, because the female can't do that and calves can't do that. But today we have such a small number of males, and then the situation will be very bad for the female and the calf. So when they want us, it's not a good solutions. We don't get the good results because the government, they don't have the knowledge that the Siida do. But of course, it's not, you can't predict what's happening in the next year, because the districts, the areas are different as the years are different. There are variations. So at the end, the conclusion, you can say that the Siida, they have the best local knowledge. They know about their district, and they have to keep the knowledge that they have, and the knowledge must be used when we talk about how much reindeer there should be. And they should have self-determination, the Siida, it's not only about the knowledge. Thank you.